In this chapter, we are going to model some clothes over the character, or I should rather say some rags. This will be fairly simple, and the main idea here is to reuse the existing geometry on the character to quickly create some kind of clothes. And we can start right away by selecting the body, going in the edit mode by pressing tab. And now we'll just need to select the loop around the body. So alt click right here to select this loop. Now don't forget to disable the auto merge vertices, because if you duplicate vertices on the body and release them at the same place, they would get merged immediately. So disable this, and now we'll press Shift D to duplicate and just enter. And now I will press P for the separation and separate the selection. Let's just tab out now, select the new object that was creating by separating this loop, go into the edit mode, so tab in, and first I want to move this vertex under the belly here. So let's look from the side, and let's move it right here like that, and maybe a little bit in the back. And we can toggle X-ray to see what's going on here, and that's basically what we want. So tab out, and now we'll have to apply some of these modifiers. First of all, we don't want this to be symmetrical, so I will just apply the mirror modifier here and reduce the viewport samples on the subdivision modifier to 1 and apply that as well, so we have some more geometry going on there. And now tab in, select all by pressing A, and we can scale this down a little bit. So press S and scale this down so it touches the body a little bit more, but not too much. And now press E and then Z to scale this down. And we can now rotate to the side and check whether we like this shape or not. And we can see there's a little bit of slope in the reference. So what we can do is to press S, then Y, and scale this on the Y axis a little bit and move it tiny bit to the back. So press G, then Y, and move this back. Let me check this out. Looks fine so far. So we can now toggle the X-ray again. And now we'll start to moving some of these vertices to create a zigzag shape around the character. So select one of these vertices, press G twice, and just move this up. And then this one here as well. And you want to move them in non-uniform way. And some of these will need to go down, obviously, to hide the parts of the body we want to be hidden. So you can, for example, select this edge and move it down a little bit. Then select this and move it down. Or if you want to keep the slope, you can press G twice, and while moving you can hold Alt and you can move out of bounds. Here we can go up a little bit. And we want this to be really non-uniform. That's why I applied the mirror modifier. So let's select this one, move it a little bit down. Okay, I think this will do for now. We can now tab out, and I will add one level of subdivision. So Ctrl 1 to add the subdivision modifier with one level of viewport subdivisions. And we can now shade it smooth. So right click, shade smooth. And there's some shading issue here. So if you run into something like this, it's always to check whether you have a double geometry somewhere or flipped normals. And since we extruded this object from only the edges, I suspect there will be a problem with normals. So tab in, select all by pressing A and Shift N to consolidate normals or recalculate normals, and you can see that this fixed our shading issue. And just to be safe, we can press M and merge by distance, but there are 0 vertices overlap, so that was purely the normal problem. Now we can tab out, and with the subdivision modifier on, we can add a solidify modifier here that will add a volume to this piece of cloth, but I don't like this to be shade it this way. So we can go into the object data properties and enable auto smooth here. So we have a little bit of that sharp edge there on the end. And this is basically for this piece of the cloth. And now we'll create some kind of belt around, some kind of rope that holds this piece of cloth on the character. Let's tab into the edit mode, go into the edge select, alt click the loop here, and once again we'll press Shift D to duplicate, enter, and P, enter to separate. Make sure you had the merge vertices off. Now tab out, select the new object that we just separated. It's just this edge loop right here, and we can go to the modifiers tab and remove the solidify modifier there. We don't need that, but leave the subdivision on, since this copies the original object quite well. It's exactly where it should be. And we'll now convert this to mesh. So I have my conversion options on the quick menu. If I press Q, you can see I can create a curve from mesh. You can find it here in the object, convert to curve from mesh. And if you right click this option, you can add this to quick favorites or remove them if you have it there. So once you do that, you can just press Q and click curve from mesh. And this is now a curve. If we go into the edit mode, you can see this is editable curve. And now if you go to the object data properties with the curve icon, you can go to the geometry section and actually do some bevel geometry here by increasing the depth value here. So let's do that and increase this to something we like. For example, like this. So it's 0.025, and we'll reduce the resolution to 2. We don't need this to be sense. Okay, I really like this. And now just right click and shade smooth. So this way we easily use the existing geometry on the character, separated some edges and extruded some cloth pieces that can be used as a clothes. And there were basically no additional modeling involved other than extruding some parts and zigzagging the edge here. So quite nice trick. Now I won't be creating any additional piece of clothes for the boots right here. I will just modify the existing geometry. Please mind, we are going to destroy this geometry a little bit. So if you want, you can just select the body, press Shift D to duplicate, enter, and then press M to move to a collection and create a new collection and call it backup. I do this all the time. So right now we moved the duplicate of the body to the backup collection, and we can now just deactivate the backup. So this way you have a nice little container where you can save parts of the meshes or things you are going to destroy basically by either applying some kind of modifier or something, and you can always save your state by moving something to a disabled backup collection, and you can have it there when you need to go back to some kind of geometry you had there. So don't forget to click the collection once again. If we create a new object, it will be created in the active collection. And now we can select the body again, just tab in. And now I want to add some more geometry here. So let's press Ctrl R and add a new loop right here and move it up until here. And now let's go to the face select, select this bottom n-gon, and let's press Ctrl plus to expand the selection like this. And we can now scale this to the sides. So press S and then Shift Z to lock this on X and Y plane and scale this up a little bit like that. And now we can select this front edge. So either go to the vertex select and drag a selection around those vertices, or edge select by pressing 2 and select this edge. And press G, then Y, and move this more to the front so it looks like the boots a little bit. And maybe we can select this one vertex and move it back a tiny bit. Okay, and now I want to select this loop here. So press 2 for the edge select, alt click right here, press G, then Z, and move this up so it goes over right here, so it's higher than the loop before. And then we can create a new loop right here, so Control R, create a new loop right here, go up a little bit, and then scale this up. So we are creating an illusion that the boot goes here a little bit inside and the leg is coming from there. We can support this effect by making this part a little bit more sharp by adding one more support loop there. So Control R, right click here on the leg and move this down. And as you can see, the loop has the shape of the loop above it, and you can easily change this by hitting E. So you are switching to even loop, and then you can use F to flip this and basically choose which loop you want to be even with, even the one above or bottom. So I will press F and make this even with the bottom one and just slide this down. I don't want to go all the way and touch it, just very near. And you can use Shift for more smooth increments and release it like that. So this way we created an illusion of the boot there, but I want some kind of rags there as well, similar to the cloth here. So let me tab back in, and now we'll select this loop here. So Alt click the loop, press Shift D, enter, and P to separate. We can now tab out, select the new object that we separated, and go to the modifiers tab. And right now I want to keep the mirror here, but I want to apply the one level of subdivision. So first of all, let me reduce this to one viewport division, and let's click this arrow here to move this one step up. So the subdivision is over the mirror modifier, so it's apply first, and let's just apply this. Now if we tab in, so here I just wanted to apply one subdivision, so we have some more geometry to play with. Now Alt click here, press E and Z to extrude this down, and we will scale this a little bit to the side. So press S and scale it up, but be careful to not touch there in the middle because it would merge. So something like this. And now we'll create a similar zigzag like there. So press G twice here and move these around. Something like this. Okay, I feel like this works fine right here. So right now we can tab out, and let's apply one level of subdivision here and shade this smooth. And we can add the solidify modifier as well here and go to the object data properties and enable auto smooth here as well, just like before. And if we now go closer, this looks quite okay. And if you want, you can go into the edit mode, select all, and move this a little bit down and scale it. Okay, I will leave this for now as a separated object, same as these clothes here. Just the boots here are part of the body mesh.